coming right at you. So let's raise this up so you guys can see her fringe. This is going to be what I call a texture sandwich. Now this is one of the techniques that my Sharp Scissors Society members already know because it's one that I've taught quite a few different times. But I love this texture sandwich because it takes a really heavy fringe and it makes it a little bit more see-through. Also, if you have a person that has maybe not quite as much hair in the fringe, you can add some texture into the interior with this texture sandwich and give them a little bit of movement without making the fringe too transparent. So it can work both ways to either lighten up a fringe or soften up a fringe but not take away too much bulk. So the way that the texture sandwich works is exactly like a sandwich with bread. And so what we're going to do is we are going to create, because this is a little bit heavier fringe, we're going to make the bread on the outside, so the bottom and the top. I'm going to texturize those two elements, but I'm going to leave the internal, so the bread and the meat inside would be, the meat would be the part I don't texturize. So let's take the top section out. I've already pre-cut this fringe, almost blunt. It has a little bit of layering to it, but I just kind of firmed it up and brought it in a little bit shorter. So I'm going to take that out, and then I'm going to remove the interior, because what I want to do is I want to lighten up this fringe. So it was cut down at more of a one length. So I'm going to come in and I'm going to texturize the one length line. I will leave this section, the middle, so the meat of the sandwich, I'll leave that without texture. So that will all reach down to that first line. And then the top will have some texture as well. So this is a texture sandwich, meaning we're putting our texturizing on both sides of this section. If the hair were fine, I would go in and I would maybe leave this blunt, texturize the middle, and then leave the top without texture. So you can use it a couple of different ways. So I'll just pull this little guy over to the side. This way we have a nice clean area that we're going to work on. And make sure, I'm pretty sure that everyone that was interested in winning the scissors is on live right now. I'm giving away my 6-inch foundational angel blades at the end of this live. So coming in, and the way that you could have entered that, which many of you didn't because I don't know if you were actually on my mailing list, was I asked people to fill out a survey of different things that you would like to see me doing in education. So here we go. This underneath, I'm going to come in, keep the elevation low, and come in with a deep parallel point cutting. What this is going to do is it's going to soften that edge. If the hair is very, very thick, you could come in and be a little more aggressive and actually take some bigger pieces out. This gives you a little bit more of a choppy feeling to the fringe. So even though we still have all that length, it's more broken up now. I'll scoot her in a little closer. There we go. Okay, I've got some questions coming in. Let me see here. Yes, I cut curly hair, a lot of curly hair actually. Good to see everyone. Thank you for joining. Okay, so once again, the texture sandwich, the underneath section is being texturized. Then I'm going to leave the center without texture, but I really want to come in and break this up. So I'm just keeping it pretty much in natural fall, which is where the fringe was cut, and I'm working on the bottom line. So we have that. Here comes the sandwich part, the meat in the middle, so I'm going to leave that without texture. What fringe section did I take? I went in and I worked off of the high point of the head, and I took a triangular shaped section. So from the high point out to the corner of the eyebrow. And, excuse me, then I'm using that entire section. So I took horizontal parting and sectioned out that underneath, then left the internal without texture. And now I'm going to come in and this very top section, so this would be the top of that triangle. I'm coming in and I'm going to lift this up and I'm going to texturize it at a higher elevation, which will make it softer on top. The lower your elevation, the heavier your shape will become. The higher your elevation, the softer your shape will always be and the lighter. Okay, so I'm going to pull this up and I'm going to texturize it pretty much all in one. So everything is over directed right to the center. Wish I lived closer. Well, I wish you lived closer too. I couldn't live further away from pretty much everybody in the United States. I'm up in the Pacific Northwest. And it's just hard to move out of this area. It's so beautiful. Okay, so everything is over directed to the center. So my texture now is going to spread the hair out. Okay. So what we have now, I love that. I think that looks cool. What we have now, host would like me to unmute. Am I muted? There we go. There we go. So what we have right now is we have the texture sandwich with the underneath being texturized, that first section. I went in and did a deep parallel point cut and kind of zigzagged into it. Then I left a section completely out without texture. Then the top over directed everything to the center and lightened up the top of that fringe. So we have different types of texture going on, also with a heavy area in the middle. And just to fill in a lot of the Sharp Scissors Society members that just joined, I'm doing a live giveaway on Instagram right now, which some of you might be in my drawing because you filled out the survey. So I'll do it live on Instagram. You guys will see it too. There we go. This is so fun going back and forth. I've never done that. Okay, then let's just drop it down. And what I'm loving right now is this little bit of disconnection that we're starting to see between fringes and the rest of the hair. Hang on, I just got a really good, okay, would you texture the middle section at a lower elevation if it's still heavy? So that question is, if the hair were still heavy, let's say I wanted it a little bit lighter than this, would I go back in and take out a little bit out of that center? Absolutely. You can do whatever you want with this. You could do aggressive texturizing on the bottom, a little bit in the middle, and none on top. You can change it however you want. It's your sandwich. It's whatever you like. So, and how wide is the fringe area? The fringe goes from the high point of the head out to the corner of the eyebrow. I call it corner front, and it's where the side of the head intersects with the front. So if you were to lay a flat point right on the side, another one on the side of the head in the front and on the side, that corner is how far out you can take the fringe. Okay, so I love that little bit of disconnection. There's still some layers in this hair, but it's a nice heavy fringe, but you can see through it.